when a person says, I'm going to play my 23rd season in Tampa, we have to take that to mean he's going to play his 23rd season in Tampa.
If he had just said, like, listen, I've done a lot of thinking, I'm coming back, and that was the tweet, I think we would be off and running, and we would spend the next hour talking about Tom Brady to San Francisco. But I can't do that right now. I want it to happen. I hope that he does a power play, but he, like, the family video, the pictures.
Michael on the stream says, my sources might be wrong. All right, well. That's why you don't, but Tom Brady says, these past 2 months, I've realized my place is still on the field, not in the stands. That time will come, but it's not now. I love my teammates, and I love my supportive family. They make it all possible. I'm coming back for my 23rd season in Tampa. Unfinished business, LFG.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of could he be traded for Jimmy Garoppolo? We've said over and over, Bruce Arians is not coaching Jimmy Garoppolo. Whether Tom was playing or not, Jimmy Garoppolo does not fit the style of offense in which he dreams of playing again, because at the end of the day, for as great as Tom is, and Bruce knows it, he is not a dink and dunk guy. He was fired in Pittsburgh for making Roethlisberger throw too deep. He had a lot of success with Carson Palmer throwing bombs. And even Jameis, remember the year Jameis threw all the pick sixes? They were letting it rip down the field.
Right. Threw a lot of touchdowns that year too.
Yeah. Nothing like the 30-30 club.
So
didn't he enter that? Like, it was like 33 touchdowns and 31 picks?
Yep.
It was the pick sixes that he had. I mean, he almost had 10 pick sixes. I think he legitimately had 6 or 7.
First of all, I'm thrilled. I love watching Tom Brady. It's one more team that's worth watching, and Brady's worth watching. I think we watched a lot of what he had to say. The thing you kept coming back to was, would he really make his dad do that farewell crying? And my belief the whole time was like, I don't think he retired with the intent to come back. You read that Belichick Brady book by Wickersham, and there's obviously Giselle has a big influence. And he retired. Even his initial retirement, week, was like, these are not the things that a person who is hard and fast retired says. Kind of weird that he could have just taken the time without retiring, right? He could have just taken the time without retiring, but he retired.
Listen, I do respect this. There was kind of a finite time. Like, we kept saying, like, oh, will he play for $2 million? Like, he ain't playing for $2 fucking million. So part of coming back right now is like, well, listen, I'm still taking discounts, but I'm playing for 25. I ain't playing for 1. It's like, could he come back on the vet minimum? It's why the Niners thing, it has to happen now. He's not playing for the 49ers. One, I mean, it doesn't look like he is at all. But if it was going to happen, it was going to happen this week. Because he wouldn't just, come for $2 million. Not when you're, I don't care who you are. You want to do what you want to do. There is still a baseline of money that it costs for his services when you're playing at his level. That's why, I remember we had kind of brought it up. You had mentioned, could he, that the money's not going to be an issue. I think looking back, it had to happen now.
Definitely for the Bucks too, right? Maybe the Bucks had given him not a hard deadline. You would take Tom back whenever, but it's like, Tom, if you're thinking about it, doing it in 3 weeks is going to really put us in a bad spot.
But even if you are going to push the envelope on, because I do think it would be insane if in 2 days, Tom's pushing for a trade to San Francisco, that would be a whole story on itself.
Yeah.
You have to do that now when they have their money available once they trade Jimmy Garoppolo. It's not possible when they don't have any money left, because all the money right now, it's like, this team has X. It's all fake, right? At any moment, they can cut guys, they can restructure. It doesn't matter. But it does matter come April 5th. Once we have $7 million left to sign our draft class. Now, I guess you could always cut a guy on your roster at that time, but that's ideally not what you want to do. You're cutting the guys right now you want to cut. And the other thing is, it's hard to, just get $20 million worth of cap space out of nowhere.
Right.
Right, to trade for Tom's salary. So it does, it is possible now, I would say. Again, he would have to do an about face. Like he's just cool with Arians? Like, is that a story that's going to come out? They've had long talks over the last couple weeks. They've hashed some things out. Because I watched Andrew, what's his name? The little guy for NFL Network,
Siciliano.
Yeah, tweeted out the video of him talking to Arians about if Tom wanted to come back in August, and he was like, "That's not the Tom Brady I know. He wouldn't do that to us." Maybe he already knew. They're like, "Hey, I'll let you know for sure come this week," because that's just the way to do business. Like there are timelines in any business, and this is a clear timeline. This today, right, tomorrow,
right.
And really Wednesday, but this next 48
9 a.m. Monday is when the legal tampering. What it mean? I mean, agents can start talking to teams 9 a.m. Monday.
Isn't it what made the Rodgers request last year on draft day so stupid? It's like, bro, you could have got a lot more headway if you would have made this 3 weeks before.
Totally.
Now it all kind of worked out for him, but there's timing to all this stuff around these enormous dates, and I respect Brady. Like Tom knows that. Understands it. Aaron finally did this year, right? It's like, hey, Aaron. Now, who knows? Would the Packers, even if he would have said it at the April 1st, they probably would have done nothing.
Right. I mean, we all buy things on the internet and then return them, and sometimes you return them with 29 days into the 30-day return window. Sometimes you forget to return them and try to convince people to take things back, and that's a much harder sell. And Tom,
have you ever pulled that off?
I don't think I have. I did get an AT&T rewards card one day after I was supposed to be, you call, I have AT&T, can I get my $100 reward card as part of the sign up? And I told them that I'd been on hold for an hour and a half the day before on the 30th day. And so they gave it to me on day 31. So
is that true?
Yeah, it was true. But Tom, you're right. Tom knew that this was the last day of his return policy. Now they would have taken him back later, but he would have only been hurting himself to come back to the Bucs in 2 months, right? Because we would have been hurting the Bucs. And just a single word in there, the fact that he says Tampa, if he did not have the word Tampa in there, which the word Tampa is not like the word and, like the word Tampa is a very specific element of this tweet, then I think this would be a 49er story. It's not a 49er story, other than it's the NFC. But Jimmy Garoppolo was not a Bucs destination.
And they don't play Tampa, right, during the season.
Not to the conference championship game.
Yeah, so I do think that it definitely impacts the NFC immediately. But I also think it impacts one reason also you let it be known, they immediately become the Miami Heat with LeBron. Guys want to go play with Tom Brady.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I do think Tom Brady has more cachet. And part of it is where he plays. But Boston didn't have the tax benefits that Tampa does, and people used to go to Patriots nonstop. A huge part of it, right, is a double whammy. I get to play with Tom, and I think I get to win when I go to play with Tom.
Yep.
And the other thing now in Tampa, and someone can say now Tampa, hey, you could make $7 million going to play for the Rams. We'll pay you $5 million. You make the fucking same money when the bill comes due.
Yeah, or we'll pay you $7
million. That is real. Yeah.
Or we'll pay you $7 million. So, incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Again, it's just a weird story in some ways, John, because I'm not knock my socks off stunned that Tom is back, especially like you said earlier, after we saw the video of him talking to Ronaldo the other day. I mean, it's really hard to deny. We love being body language doctors. We all do. It's not that hard on the Tom Ronaldo video. And maybe that reaction was not, you know what I think that reaction now was in hindsight from Brady? That reaction was not, I don't know what I'm going to do. That reaction is, I already know, and the Bucs already know, but I don't know if I should share it with Ronaldo on this video that someone's filming. You know what I mean?
What?
Like he said, what he wanted to say right there was,
but that was he posted that. That was his.
No, I understand. I just think it's one of those fuck it. Should I tell Ronaldo? Is Ronaldo going to leak it to Schefter? You know what I mean? I think that's what that reaction was. He was about to lie to Ronaldo, and he didn't want to lie to Ronaldo after Ronaldo just signed something for his kid. And he had to lie to Ronaldo because he had just talked to the Glazers and said, I'm coming back.
Like when Kevin used to snap at Sherwood Strauss. Like he knew he was leaving, but he also didn't want to give a little different relationship. Like Kevin, I don't think liked anyone in there. I think those two guys are, mutual respect for greatness.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been funny if he would have like, I'm returning, and then he hashtag gas prices, hashtag inflation, hashtag I need the cash? Would people got to laugh? I think it would have been funny.
I think sometimes Tom has a good sense of humor. I think there are some things with him that he probably doesn't, that he takes very seriously,
Football's one of them.
I bet this was really hard. Yeah, I mean, football, I bet this was really stressful for him to retire and then want to be the guy that was retired, but then just not be able to do it. Or to say I'm retired when he knew in that moment, I don't really want to do this.